Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for being here. It has been my honor and absolute pleasure to serve our mayor as the co-chair of her advisory teams. And today's presentation represents the first public presentation of what we have all been working on. And of course, today we're going to talk about transportation. Before we start, I just want to thank a few people, particularly Carol Post and Sonia Little, the two co-chairs that I have been working with through this process. They were not able to join us this morning, but both of them have brought just an enormous amount of energy and expertise to this effort, and we could not be more appreciative. And then, of course, the members of the committee. The mayor appointed a very diverse and interesting group of people from a lot of different perspectives to serve on this committee. We were very, very privileged to have Dr. Robert Bertini of USF as our chair. And we've had people from all over the community expressing their interest in this topic. And we've really brought together some of the area's foremost experts to put together these recommendations. On June 24th, Mayor Castor kicked off this advisory team. The challenge from her was to recommend approaches to address a number of long-standing as well as emerging mobility-related issues facing Tampa and its surrounding areas. It is my great pleasure to introduce the 59th mayor of the city of Tampa, Jane Castor. She is going to talk about what we are going to do as a community to move past our transportation challenges and get the ball rolling. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Harry. I appreciate that. Good morning. This is a particularly exciting day for me as I have the opportunity to announce considerable progress on one of my key initiatives, an initiative that connects our communities and that is critical to the future of our city and region. We're all keenly aware that Tampa is at a unique juncture, a time and place that provides us an incredible opportunity to shape our future like never before. Our diverse neighborhoods, small and large businesses, entertainment and cultural assets, as well as recreational prospects are growing and taking new shape. This is the time to write our next chapter by transforming Tampa's tomorrow. There are many issues that city government must and should focus on, but none more significant to our successful transformation than transportation, affordable housing, workforce development, economic development, and sustainability and resiliency. These areas will provide the successful base on which our prosperity will grow. Upon being elected mayor of this incredible city, I promise to address each of these areas as quickly, deeply, and broadly as possible. To this end, a series of advisory teams were developed consisting of subject matter experts, city employees, members of the community, and many interested and knowledgeable individuals. To add context, these advisory teams were formed for each of the areas mentioned, with the exception of sustainability and resiliency, and were tasked with developing a plan with actionable steps to address each area, all within a 90-day period. It is my opinion that transportation is the single most significant overarching issue facing our community today. Clearly, our citizens believe so, as they overwhelmingly voted for All for Transportation referendum. And therein lies the reason for my excitement this morning. Today, we are releasing the findings and recommendations from our Transportation Advisory Team. Now, before we get into the details of this report, I'd like to again thank and acknowledge the team members whose hard work made this report possible. Team Chair, Dr. Bertini, who heads USF Center for Urban Transportation Research. Thank you for volunteering your time to chair this incredibly important advisory team. Carol Post, who can't be here today, who has really been a one-woman transition team for my administration. And she has done so much in facilitating not only this team, but all of the teams in transforming Tampa's tomorrow. Sonia Little, who also couldn't be here in person, but deserves a huge shout out. Sonia used to be the city's chief financial officer until SPP stole her. But I'm slowly getting over that. As co-chair for Transforming Tampa's Tomorrow initiative, or as our young guns like to refer to it as T3, Sonia has been instrumental in advancing these efforts. And my good friend, former Councilman Harry Cohen, who served beside Sonia as co-chair. Harry's been an incredible partner, someone who always takes a late night call to run an idea by, and most importantly, a very good friend. Harry provided critical guidance and direction to each of our advisory teams with his intellect, passion, and unwavering commitment to community. Most importantly, I want to recognize each of the members of the Transportation Advisory Team, some of who are here today and you see along the wall. Each one volunteered their time and provided invaluable and innovative insight into this process. Christina Barker, Cassandra Bouchard, Daryl Egner, Clarence Ng, Cesar Hernandez, Ben Limmer, Bob O'Malley, Gary Sasso, Mark Sharp, Steve Simon, Cindy Stewart, Gina Torres, and Joe Wagner. And clearly that's not including our City of Tampa team. Finally, I want to acknowledge members of the public who attended many of our meetings, as well as those who submitted feedback via our online portal. This effort requires everyone's cooperation, and I appreciate the participation across our community. So thank you to each and every one of you. Now, let's begin with the principle that our citizens deserve a transportation system that is efficient, safe, reliable, and convenient. In other words, transportation that works for everyone. Systems that connect to local businesses and bridge the gaps between economic hubs like downtown, West Shore, Tampa International Airport, USF, and more, where pedestrians feel safe crossing the street and cyclists feel safe sharing the road. The Tampa Bay area is very attractive to individuals, businesses, and organizations across our nation. As a result, we will continue to grow exponentially and cannot look at transportation solutions as one person, one car. We are way beyond that point as we stand here today. As our city continues to grow, we need transit that can keep up, because world-class cities deserve world-class transportation. Now's the time to take action, work together to build a better connected city for all of us. Transportation solutions cannot be implemented overnight. I often joke that we're so far behind in transportation that we feel we are first. Fact is, our transportation crisis is no joke. We must act now from a variety of angles using proven solutions as well as innovative and creative approaches. Today, we're unveiling a crystallized vision, one that brings everyone to the table to get things done. There's been no greater need, and there is no time like the present to get moving. We have the funding, we have the support, and now all we have to do is execute. There are many individuals and groups who have worked and will continue to work on this issue. We have incredible minds, thoughtful innovators, and dedicated visionaries who have tried to push solutions forward. This, I promise you all, I will be a champion for transportation solutions. Our Transportation Advisory Team has identified key recommendations to meet our goals. The report first reflects 3 foundational recommendations that will provide the basis for effectively executing the balance of the recommendations. The 3 foundational ideas are as follows: elevate and strengthen transportation functions within city government. Transportation will come out from under Public Works and become a standalone department. This will allow for consolidated services, streamlined decision-making, enhanced coordination, and attraction of the best and the brightest from around the world. Next, we'll develop a citywide mobility plan. Our Tampa Moves plan will focus on mobility, opportunity, vision, equity, and safety for all of Tampa. This means leveraging All for Transportation funds to meet our mobility goals through community engagement program. This engagement will outline a clear vision for our city, one that our residents have been demanding. Lastly, we'll review and update our land development codes. This will allow us to realign our policies and procedures with our comprehensive plan, goals, and objectives. We'll explore codes addressing density, parking, and affordable housing, just to mention a few. These foundational efforts will enable us to more effectively tackle each of the strategic recommendations set forth by the advisory team. Advisory team recommendations are divided into 5 sections. Implementing strategic transit projects, focusing on trails and greenways as transportation options, adopting Vision Zero as a citywide policy, reinventing urban parking and mobility, and lastly, collaborating with our community. Let me share some of the highlights of each of these critical concepts. Implementing strategic transit projects. As a region, we have to explore and implement a variety of innovative solutions, including mass transit, multimodal forms of transportation, unique use of space, efficiencies, and more. Roughly 2/3 of people who work downtown live within a 3-mile radius. Every one of those residents should have alternative options to get to work. And that brings me to the first transit project, expanding and modernizing the streetcar. Since going fare-free last year and dramatically increasing trip frequency, ridership for the streetcar has been off the charts. And if you don't believe me, try to get on the streetcar before a Lightning game. This spike in ridership speaks to a greater need in our community for this type of service, and we hear you. One of the reasons I'm going to continue traveling to Washington, D.C. and Tallahassee is to meet with leadership to strongly encourage prioritizing Tampa's transportation projects. I, like so many of you, am frustrated by how long these projects take to complete. So today, we are announcing that as we move forward with the extension of the streetcar to Tampa Heights, we will at the same time be planning the next phases, which will determine if we continue expanding north into Seminole Heights or further east into East Tampa. The expansion into the Heights will be a game changer. It'll give locals a transit option into downtown other than driving while cutting down on the number of vehicles on our street. It will make the Heights more accessible to visitors, giving tourists a fun and unique way to reach our local businesses. And it will create an invaluable connection between the Heights neighborhood and our downtown core. Next, we can all agree that there is so much potential in expanding our existing CSX rail lines to connect our major business districts. Using this line would spur billions of dollars in new development, help build stronger and walkable neighborhoods, and provide housing opportunities so people who work in Tampa can live in Tampa. These are big initiatives, but we are fully committed to working with HART and CSX to develop an action plan and fight to make this vision become a reality. It's important that our local governments and agencies speak together with one loud voice and message to build support in Tallahassee and Washington, D.C. for this transformative project. We know that a project of this magnitude is a big lift with big challenges, but it is often the case that the greatest things in life are the result of overcoming such hurdles. We can do this if we do it together. Building a world-class transit system also means investing in a bus network that connects all our neighborhoods with frequent and reliable service. As mayor and as a member of HART's board of directors, I am fully committed to doing what it takes to improve bus service within the city of Tampa by working closely with Ben Limmer and HART to innovate and improve bus routes and reliability. I'm excited to announce that not only will I be working closely with Ben, but that the City of Tampa's transportation planners will be working closely with their counterparts at HART to develop new and exciting pilot projects that will lead to a world-class bus system for everyone. We now live in a world where younger generations are turning away from car ownership, and we live in one of the nation's fastest growing cities where many of our historic streets are at already capacity and parking is very difficult to find. We simply cannot sustain current and projected increases in cars on our roadway. A sustainable and resilient city means that we need to plan for transportation modes that move people faster and more efficiently. So far, we've talked a lot about vehicle-driven transportation. But if we truly want to plan for our future, we need to encourage eco-friendly mobility alternatives as well. One way we can plan to do this is by activating our greenways and trails to connect our neighborhoods. Green spaces and corridors organically link our community, but if we want to encourage transportation alternatives, we first need to ensure that our greenways and trails are designed as viable transportation options, not just recreational facilities. For example, the Green Artery will be a 20-mile trail that connects a variety of neighborhoods. Activating the Green Artery will allow us to embrace a multimodal transportation plan where alternatives like walking and biking are celebrated and encouraged, where people are connected to the places they want to be, and where safety and health of our community are priorities. As we explore new and expanded means of mobility, we will also need to focus on improving public safety, which brings me to the third recommendation, and that is embracing Vision Zero. Today, I am excited to declare that the City of Tampa will be committed to Vision Zero. This means that moving forward, safety and the preservation of life will be our highest priority. Vision Zero is a multinational network dedicated to eliminating traffic fatalities and serious injuries on our roadways. We are currently in the process of developing a City of Tampa Vision Zero action plan, and we are creating a Vision Zero coordinator position to champion the program and its comprehensive implementation. This is a bold plan, but it's a plan we are fully committed to because safety has to be a priority. We want to create safe streets where pedestrians and motorists and cyclists can get where they need to be safely and without fear. This requires departments to work together. It means TPD is communicating with our transportation department, planning and development is working along Parks and Rec, and all departments are coming together to create a safer environment for all. In addition, we'll work with FDOT, Hillsborough County, and THEA to prioritize safe projects on high crash corridors. I don't care whose jurisdiction it falls under, if it impacts our community, we all need to work together to find a solution. We will close the gap on key sidewalks and create safe pedestrian crossings. One example of this is our crosswalks to classrooms, because we should never have to worry about our kids getting to and from school safely. We will also be smarter about how we plan our parking in the urban core. This is a focus of our fourth recommendation, reinventing urban planning. About 1/3 of downtown traffic during major events is from people circling around trying to find a parking space. We are going to invest in parking technology that will allow you to find and reserve a parking spot on your smartphone. Once you've parked, you can finish your connection via the streetcar, scooters, future micro-mobility options, or maybe just walk. We need to make it as easy as possible to get cars off the street and get people where they need to be, like seeing the puck drop at our Lightning games. We're also going to revisit parking requirements for new developments to make them more affordable. As we improve our city's transit system and multimodal networks, if you don't want to pay to own and park a car, you will not have to. There are so many innovative ways we can affect change by investing in mobility solutions. But the most critical aspect is by working together across all areas of our community. That's the leading principle behind the fifth recommendation, community collaboration. Transportation has been our city's biggest hurdle for far too long, and now is the time for us to take action. We need a safe, reliable, and sustainable transportation system that can keep up with our success. But if we want to change, we must innovate and work together. We will continue to bring city government into our neighborhoods by keeping our community informed, having meaningful conversations about transportation needs and ideas, and making transit solutions a team effort. To this end, we are launching a new website at tampagov.net/T3, where you can find information about our advisory teams and submit your input, because your opinions and feedback are invaluable, and we want your voice to be a part of transforming Tampa's tomorrow. The bottom line is that we cannot approach transportation from a myopic vantage. It's not a question of rail or BRT, water or land, highway or greenways. We need it all. As I stated earlier, I intend to be a champion for transportation solutions. We are poised to implement immediate actions based upon the release of AFT dollars. And if somehow the decision is made to defy the will of the voters, then I will look for other funding sources and ideas to move these projects forward. I want to once again thank our Transportation Advisory members, Dr. Bartini, Carol Post, leading the transition, the advisory co-chair, Sonia Little, and former City Councilman Harry Cohen, and all of the people, organizations, and leaders that have come together, volunteered countless hours, and will continue to work with my administration to execute this blueprint for transforming Tampa's tomorrow. Our transportation system will play a large role in defining Tampa's future. The choices that we make today are critical as they will impact our quality of life, housing options, sustainability, and economic growth moving forward. The work that we do today on transportation will be the legacy that we leave future generations who call Tampa home. Standing here today, I am so excited about all that we are working on, and I truly believe that if we continue working together, we can create the world-class transportation system that our city deserves. Tampa is ready, our citizens are ready, and together we can all transform Tampa's tomorrow. Thank you all very much.